If you burnt out from managing behavior all day, if you spend more time redirecting than actually teaching, and if you feel like classroom expectations are impossible to enforce, it's not because you're a bad teacher. And it's also not because the children are just so much worse now. It's because most teacher prep programs never fully teach the science of behavior. And when you don't understand how behavior actually works, classroom management feels personal and exhausting. Most teachers receive excellent training in curriculum, in instruction, in differentiation, and in assessment, but very few have training in defining why behavior escalates, why it repeats, why attention is often the most powerful reinforcer in the classroom, and why consequences don't always work. So that little piece right there, that little misunderstanding is why behavior and behavior management can feel so unpredictable, and the unpredictability is what makes it feel personal. So this is how it goes. Tell me if you've seen this situation before. You teaching, somebody starts talking, and this is the bane of most teachers' existence. Somebody starts talking. You redirect. They continue talking. You escalate. They turn up. Now the whole class is watching, and the whole class is turned up. And suddenly, it's not about instruction anymore. It's about authority and control. And when that happens, things are almost out of control. So this is what I'll tell you. In many of those moments, the student isn't necessarily challenging you, but their behavior is being reinforced. Behavior follows reinforcement. Always. People behave where the reinforcement is. You go to your job because you're constantly reinforced through a paycheck. You staying with your spouse or your loved one because you're always getting that love back, hopefully. And you keep going to the same movies or grocery stores or places that you frequent because you know what to expect and because you know the reinforcement is coming. No different in the classroom, okay? So if a behavior continues, it's being reinforced somehow. That reinforcement might be attention from you. It might be laughter from peers. It might be their ability to escape a task that's too difficult for them. It could be a tangible item or activity in the classroom, such as an iPad or being able to go to recess. It could be any number of reasons. But the point is that there is something that is reinforcing it. And what we have to do is just identify what exactly that is, okay? Here's the part that changes everything, though. Behavior is functional. It serves a purpose. When we treat behavior as disrespect, we respond emotionally. But when we treat behavior as functional, we respond strategically. And that little shift right there is a game changer. So this is probably a good time for us just to stop really quick right now. And hopefully we can get some reinforcement out of this so we can keep putting out information like this. So if this is valuable, if the information that you've gotten from this channel has given you any type of insight, make sure you stop, hit that like button, hit that subscription button, and hit that notification bell so you can stay informed every time we drop something new. So one of the most misunderstood behavior terms is consequences. Often I get the question or I get the statement, well, if the child only had more consequences, they would behave better. If we had the toughest, hardest consequence, then they would act right. If we just found the right consequence, they would know what to do after that. And typically it's used in place of punishment. So when people usually say consequences, they mean something aversive is coming. But this is the key. If consequences alone change behavior, the classroom would already be calm. There are a number of different consequences that happen all the time. A consequence can be punishment. So a child raises their hand and you tell them to put their hand down because everybody's reading right now. That could be a punishment because that child may not want to put their hand up again. Also, if a child starts talking and then you tell them to be quiet or else you're going to send them to the principal's office, that could be a reinforcing consequence because they got the attention they want. So it really depends on a lot of factors. And that's when the environment comes in. So consequences don't teach replacement skills. They can repress or temporarily increase behavior, but you don't have to teach anything new. So the cycle continues to repeat. And that's when you're finally feeling like you're constantly putting out fires. And that's where the burnout comes in, literally. So don't get burnt and just understand it's more than just consequences that we're talking about here. Being burnt out is not just about workload. It's about unpredictability, It's emotional escalation. It's feeling ineffective. But when you understand what is the behavior, what function does it serve, and how can I replace it, that's when you stop reacting and you start predicting. And that is what actually reduces the stress. So if you don't want to feel burnt out anymore, find the person on your campus who can help you understand those things the best. And they will help you to develop a plan that keeps you from reacting and helps you to stay one step ahead of the class. You were not given the full behavior toolkit. And this is not a criticism of teacher prep programs, but it's simply just not enough time to give you all the knowledge that you need to have. Especially when you have programs like Teach for America or other programs that are trying to fill the void that are left by a lot of teachers experiencing burnout and leaving the profession. And in order to get those individuals in the classrooms quickly, there are some steps that have to get skipped. And ultimately, behavior, for whatever reason, is number one. But just think about it. Most people think they're going to go into a classroom, they're going to impart some knowledge, and that everybody's going to be grateful. But when you finally get into the classroom and you have 30 individuals there that don't want to be there in the first place, and that you have to motivate every single minute of the day, things can change really, really quickly. And you start to say, is this really what I signed up for? So lean on the people you know that can help you, and always have an open mind. Like I said, without that knowledge, you're managing symptoms instead of systems. And systems thinking is how you preserve your energy and keep from burning out. So use the people that are around you, use your system, and think of a way that you can stay, like I said, one step ahead of the game, one step ahead of the class, and that you don't fall into emotional responding and reacting. So wait. Before you quit, wait a minute for a second. Before you decide that you can't do this no more, ask yourself, was I ever trained in how behavior functions? Or was I just handed a set of behavioral expectations and a behavioral framework and asked to implement it? Because those are two very different things, but one of those is fixable. In this series, we're going to break down why consequences aren't working, the number one mistake that escalates classroom meltdowns, how to redirect behavior without public power struggles, and how to stop taking student behavior personally. Because when behavior stops feeling personal, teaching becomes lighter. If you're an educator who wants behavior to feel predictable instead of exhausting, make sure that you subscribe. And if you're a parent who wants to know what the teachers of your children are dealing with every day, make sure you subscribe as well. Because we're not going to fix the burnout by blaming the teachers. We can fix the burnout, though, by giving them tools.